The teacher who disappeared after opening his heart. Jain's mysterious journey to Islam. This is the story of a young man whose life changed the moment he heard a single quote, a quote that opened the doors of destiny. From a gentle Jain family to embracing Islam with a heart full of peace, his journey is filled with emotion, mystery, and a teacher who appears and disappears like a divine sign. Watch till the end. You'll feel your heart move. Deep in the old town of Fatehgud, where narrow lanes carried the scent of centuries and the wind whispered secrets between crumbling stone walls, a young man named Raghav walked every morning with a strange heaviness in his heart, a heaviness he never understood until the day his life met a teacher who would change everything he ever knew. Raghav was born into a gentle Jain family known for their compassion, discipline, and quiet devotion. And although he respected every teaching of his elders, there was always a silent question echoing inside him, a question he never dared to ask aloud. What is the meaning of true peace? He tried to bury that question under daily rituals, under polite smiles, under the calm mask expected of him. But every night when the world slept and only the lamp in his room flickered with a restless flame, he felt the same emptiness tightening around him like an invisible grip, as if his soul was looking for something he couldn't name. One day, while returning from the temple, he saw a group of boys gathering around an elderly man under a large banyan tree, and the old man's voice, soft but powerful, flowed with a warmth that made Raghav stop in his tracks, and he stood there listening as the man spoke about a quote. When Allah wants good for someone, he opens the doors of understanding for them. And Raghav felt those words strike him like lightning. After the small crowd faded away, Raghav, compelled by some strange force, approached the old man, whose eyes looked like they had witnessed the world's deepest truths. "Sir," he said quietly, "I heard your words, but I didn't understand them. Why did they feel like they were meant for me?" The man smiled gently and said, "Maybe because they were," and without waiting for Raghav's response, he invited him to sit down. "Let me tell you a story," the teacher said, "a story that will explain that quote better than any lecture ever could." And Raghav, unable to resist the pull of curiosity, sat, cross-legged on the ground, unaware that this moment was the first step toward a completely new life. The teacher began speaking in a calm voice. Many years ago, in a village where fear walked louder than footsteps, there lived a hunter named Arais, a man whose heart was filled with anger because of a tragedy he blamed on the world. He hunted not for need, but for escape, for revenge against pain he never healed from. And one stormy night, while walking through a dense forest, he heard the cry of a wounded deer. Lightning flashed, thunder cracked the sky open, and Arais saw the injured animal dragging itself beside an abandoned shrine. As he lifted his bow to end its suffering, a voice behind him whispered, "Do not kill what Allah has placed in your path to test your heart." And when he turned, he saw an old man with a calm smile despite the raging storm. Arais shouted, "Who are you? Why stop me?" And the man replied, "Because your hands are seeking peace, but you are searching in the wrong direction." Confused and frustrated, Arais lowered his bow and demanded answers. So the old man led him into the shrine lit by a single oil lamp that refused to die despite the storm outside. Inside, the old man told him a story of his own, how he once lost everything, even his faith in life, until he fell to the ground in despair and felt something touch his heart, something beyond words, a mercy that wrapped him like light in darkness. He said, "When Allah wants good for someone, He breaks the illusions they hold, He removes what they cling to, and He opens their heart to truth even if they resist it." And Arais felt a strange trembling inside his chest. He asked the old man, "But why would Allah choose someone like me?" And the man replied, "Because sometimes the ones who fall the hardest rise the highest once they are guided." And with those words echoing in his soul, Arais began changing, slowly but powerfully, until the same forest that once heard his violence now witnessed his compassion. The deer he saved healed, and every time it looked at him with trust, he was reminded that mercy is the beginning of guidance. The teacher ended the story, looked at Raghav, and said softly, You stopped today under this tree not by accident, but because your heart has been calling out, and Allah answered that call by bringing you here." And Raghav felt goosebumps rise all over his body. He whispered, "But how do I know if Allah wants good for me?" And the teacher replied, "The fact that you're searching, questioning, feeling restless, that is the door of understanding already opening for you." That night, Raghav could not sleep, for the story of our eyes haunted him, pulling him into reflections he never dared visit before, and every beat of his heart repeated the old man's words, "Allah opens the doors of understanding for whom he wills." And slowly the emptiness inside him began to feel like a space ready to be filled with truth. Over the next several weeks, Raghav returned to the banyan tree every day, asking questions about life, purpose, the soul, destiny, humility, and divine mercy. And the teacher answered each question with wisdom so deep it felt like cool water pouring over fire. Raghav felt himself changing, not forcefully, not out of pressure, but naturally like a seed breaking out of soil when touched by sunlight. He learned that peace was not silence, nor rituals, nor perfection, but surrendering the ego and trusting the Creator with complete humility. He learned that every moment in life, even pain, is a sign guiding us. He learned that faith is not inherited but discovered, and that truth enters only when the heart is ready. One evening, after months of learning, a strange event shook Raghav more powerfully than anything before. When he reached the banyan tree, he found the teacher missing, and only a small parchment lay on the ground with a note written in elegant handwriting. When you stop looking for signs outside, you will discover them inside yourself. And Raghav felt a rush of fear. Was the teacher gone forever? He searched the whole neighborhood, but no one knew where the old man lived or where he came from, and an eerie mystery wrapped around his disappearance like a veil of destiny. Heart pounding, Raghav sat under the empty tree, tears rolling down his face, and prayed for the first time in his life. Not with memorized words, not with ritual phrases, but with raw emotion, saying, "O Creator, show me the truth you want me to know, guide me to the peace I have been seeking." And in that moment, a powerful calm washed over him, as if the world suddenly aligned. The breeze softened, the leaves stopped rustling, and he felt something open inside him, like a door he never knew existed. He realized the story of our eyes was actually the story of his own soul, that the storm he had been living in was pushing him toward clarity, and that guidance had been unfolding around him all along. The next morning, with a heart trembling in certainty, he walked to a nearby mosque where the teacher once mentioned he prayed. And to his shock, he found the teacher standing near the entrance as if he had been waiting all along. Raghav rushed toward him with tears spilling down his face and said, "I understand now. Allah has opened my heart." And the teacher smiled like a father witnessing a child's first steps. With gentle words, he guided Raghav as he embraced Islam, not out of persuasion, not out of pressure, but out of true understanding, and Raghav felt a peace deeper than any silence he had ever known, a peace that filled the emptiness that haunted him for years. Months later, Raghav, now Rayhan, became known for his kindness and humility, and he began teaching others exactly what had once saved him, repeating the same quote that changed his life. When Allah wants good for someone, He opens the doors of understanding for them, and every person who heard Him felt something stir within them. Sometimes people asked Rayhan what happened to the mysterious teacher, but Rayhan only smiled and said, "A soul guided by Allah appears when needed and disappears when the task is complete," and no one ever saw the teacher again, leaving behind a mystery that only added to the story's beauty. Rayhan carried the message throughout his life, guiding hearts, calming storms, and showing others that sometimes the greatest journeys begin with a single question whispered in the night. And whenever he sat under the banyan tree, now peaceful and quiet, he whispered a prayer of gratitude, for guidance, for mercy, and for a teacher sent in the perfect moment. For he had discovered the truth. When Allah chooses someone for goodness, no power in the world can stop their heart from opening to the light, just as no storm can extinguish a flame meant to shine forever. If this story opened your eyes to the brilliance of Islamic history, don't let it end here. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the true stories of our scholars. Stories that reshape how we see our faith, our world, and ourselves. Share this video with someone who thinks the Islamic Golden Age was just a chapter in history, because it was the foundation of modern science. Let's revive these forgotten legends together. Your one click helps spread knowledge, honor our scholars, and keep this channel growing so we can continue producing powerful stories that inspire and connect us. Join the journey. This is just the beginning.